Okay, this is 9 yeah. Oh my. Okay, this is 9 Yankee 4 Delta Golf, commencing another session of the 2-meter VHF TechNet, and we're actually doing it, attempting something that we've never done before. That is, we're also streaming live on, although it's a 2-meter net, we're also on digital voice. So we're transmitting on both 2-meter analog on the 146.94 repeater, and we're also streaming on the various reflectors on Talk Group 969 on the TGIF network, on D-Star 299 Gulf, on ESU YSF DV Caribbean 53636, and also we are also live on YouTube. So this is certainly first. And tonight we want to look at some interesting topics that's affecting amateur radio worldwide. But before we do that, let me tell you who I am. I am 9 Yankee 4 Delta Golf. 9 Yankee 4 Delta Golf. The name is Dev. Delta Echo Victor. And this being a net, we're going to have some check-ins. And to keep things on stream, we're going to first ask for check-ins from the VHF analog repeater. And then I'll call for check-ins on the digital voice side. So any check-ins from the digital analog repeater, please call now. Over.
904 Juliet Alpha Golf.
Okay, we got 904 Juliet Alpha Golf. Any others? Nothing heard. So we take it 904 Juliet Alpha Golf. Good evening there, Brahmi. And what do you have for us this evening there? Over.
Roger, there. Very good evening to you there. 9 Yankee 4 Delta Golf and all the other radio amateurs on this repeater, as well as on all the digital modes. Very good evening to all the radio amateurs listening to me. I just wanted to be the first check-in. This is part of history there, Dev, so I just wanted to be the first check-in there. Over.
Okay, Barmy. Well, you certainly are the first. You certainly are the first there, Barmy. So thanks very much for coming up. Any other check-ins from the analog repeater side? This is 9 Yankee for Delta Golf. Over.
Yankee 4 Charlie Alpha Juliet.
Okay, so we got 9 Yankee 4 Charlie Alpha Juliet. Thank you very much for coming up there, Calmet. How can we help you this evening there? Over.
Pleasant good evening, Dev, and to all the amateur radio operators listening or getting ready to check in. I want to wish everyone a wonderful evening, a pleasant evening to all. And that is it for now from my end there. I'm Dev. 9 Yankee 4 Delta Golf, 9Y4 CJ, net control, Dev. Back to you.
Okay, there, Calmet. Thank you very much for coming up. All right. Sorry. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, thank you very much, Calmet, and thanks very much for coming up. We now take a standby for check-ins from the digital voice side. On any one of the modes of digital voice, please, you can just simply key up now. Just simply key a microphone and we'll get your call signed. Over.
Mike 6, Lima Zulu X-ray.
Yeah, got you there, Brian. Mike 6, Lima Zulu X-ray. Any others? Nothing heard. Very good evening there to you, Brian, and thank you very much for coming up. In this inaugural, what shall I say, activity where we link on our TechNet. We on all modes of digital voice. We are on our local repeater. We also streaming live on YouTube. Their Brian. Mike 6 Lima Zulu X-ray 9Y4 Delta Golf. The mic is yours, dear Brian. Over.
I'm just trying to find it on YouTube. I found one or two bits, but don't think I've got the right one yet. Back to you.
Yeah, okay there, Brian. All right, and this is why it's very important, guys. It's very, very important to please go to the Facebook page on Digital Voice Caribbean. Go to the Facebook page on Digital Voice Caribbean and ask to join, because that's where all the information, especially our international check-ins, we are on some WhatsApp chats and whatnot, but that's where our international check-ins, international visitors will certainly get the wealth of information that we plan to have. All right, just do a search for my call sign, Brian. That might help. Just do a search for my call sign and my 4 Delta Golf, and you'll see one of the activity will be TechNet Ask Dev on today's date, 26th of June, 2019. See if you can find that video there, Brian. QSL?
Yeah, just gonna have a look now, Dev. I'll have a look. Well, last time I tried it, it just took me to the peanut page, but I'll try again.
Not a problem there, buddy. All right. Any further check-ins? Any other check-ins on the digital voice side? Please key up now. There, over.
Yankee 4 X-ray.
Okay, we got you noted there, Noel. 9Y4 X-ray. Any others on the digital voice side? Please key up now. There, over.
Yes, I'm monitoring. Yeah, I'm monitoring all the other votes at this time. Back to net, I have my votes.
Okay, well, thanks very much there. And if you're monitoring, you're transmitting, please turn down the other audio. But anyway, you're coming in clean, no problem there at all. This is 9Y4 Delta Golf. Any further check-ins on the digital voice side? Please key up now there, over. Okay, we got JD and Delta Mike. JT and Delta Mike, go ahead there, ready? Got you noted. Go right ahead there, over.
Yeah, I just want to say good evening to all on the repeater as well as all in the various digital rooms. Good evening, and we'll be going along with the ride this evening, and seems is quite an interesting topic. So I'll be listening in there, Dev. Go ahead.
Okay, fine, business there, Rennie. Are you checking out the activity on YouTube as well there, over?
Yep, I was just on the YouTube channel just before I came to check in. So the link is going quite well. The audio is okay as well. So as far as that is concerned, that is an automation, right?
Okay there, Rennie. Thanks very much there. All right, any further check-ins on the digital voice side? Please key up now there, over. Nothing good. We now switch across back to the analog repeater. Do you have any further check-ins on the 9.4 analog repeater? Please key up. Please, you can't key up because I won't see a call sign. So please check in with your call sign. Over.
9 Yankee 4 Echo Papa Hotel.
Okay, got you noted there. 9 Yankee 4 Echo Papa Hotel. Thanks for coming up. Any others on the VHF repeater? Please check in with your call sign. Over. Got you noted there, Dave. 9 Yankee 4 Delta Alpha. Any others on the VHF repeater, please? Check in with your call sign, over. Any other stations wishing to check in? Please check in with your call sign. Yeah, over. Nothing heard. We'll go with these 2 stations. 9Y4 Echo Papa Hotel. Good evening there, Alice. Nice to have you on board. And you're actually linked. Let me just repeat. We are linked on not only just the VHF repeater, we're linked on digital voice modes. So you'll hear the world checking in on this particular net and several reflectors on all the digital voice modes. We also stream it live on YouTube. A link has been sent out for you to access, and you can benefit from the very great audiovisual experience. Good evening, Alice. How can we help you this evening? They're over.
Yeah, good afternoon, Dave. 9 Yankee 4 Delta Golf and all of different frequency. Actually, I'm listening to both of them. Both of them there, so I'm not missing anything. One is delayed, so the other one, go ahead.
You're okay there, Alice. And are you on? Okay, one will obviously be delayed. The repeater you heard first, but that is live, and the other one is, of course, being digitized and transcoded and sent across the internet and all that sort of nice things. So it's going to have a couple of seconds to do all that, to put all the algorithm to work. There, Alice. Thanks very much for coming up, buddy. And do stick around. Should be a very interesting net tonight there. And we go up north of you, northeast to be exact. 9Y4 Delta Alpha. Good evening there, Dave, and welcome to the TechNet. They're over.
Okay, good evening. The group 9 Yankee 4 Delta Alpha. Yes, I heard when you started there, but something on the computer and got a little break here. Yes, I want to hear about this thing with this thing, and I don't agree with it at all. It can go lower down frequency, as one of our guys above the aircraft band, it can go a few megahertz up there from that. So leave this thing alone. Alright, I also found out here now, just listening to the radio, that my audio is, I think something is wrong with it. It tends to go down very low and get distorted, and then when you touch it, it flies up loud. So I think I have a pendant failure. 9Y4DG and the group 9Y4DG.
You can live. All right. Well, I guess you'll sort that out there. All right. Thanks very much for coming up. All right. It's just about 8:15. I will put a little pause on the check-ins for the time being, and we will probably go live to the presentation. Let me see. Where do I have this now? Oh, here it is. All right. So the thing is that we want to talk about, this whole thing about the ITU band plan of 144 to 146 megahertz. There seems to be some issues with things that are supposed to be happening, which may not augur too well for amateur radio. So I want to look at some stuff here now. Where do I have it? Anyhow, let me go to something else here. I had it up. Maybe I should just click on this link. Right. So let's see what the amateur radio band plan is like for 2 meters. Let me just zoom in a bit. I know we old people can't really see some of these things quite easily. So, right. So we're looking at 144 megahertz, and I just want to show the viewers as to exactly what we will be sacrificing. Between 144.0 to 144.025, there's a satellite downlink only. So this is our major, one of our major satellite downlink frequencies or band, or portion of the band. And then we have from 144.025 to 144.010, we have telegraphy calling and random MS. Right, I was just keying up on the digital site to make sure we could there. And then 144.1 to 144.150, we have EME, telegraphy, and so on. 144.15 to 144.4. Now, this is a very interesting band because this is where we have SSB activity. In a little bit, I'll show you. As a matter of fact, let me do it now. The thing about it is that we have quite a lot of activity here. If I were to just go across here, just recently on the 19th of June, sorry, 20th of June, 2019, we had 9Y4 Delta and D41 Charlie Victor making contact on 144.174. And this is not an isolated case. We also have my good buddy, Franz. You know, here you see in J69 Delta Sierra making contact with Delta 41 Charlie Victor, also on June 20th on 144.174 on FT8. So it's a band that is very much in use, at least here in the Caribbean. I'm sure worldwide it's very much in use. So taking away this from us is not a very good idea at all, at all, at all. Now, where did I go with that video? All right. Anyhow, let me just go back to here and I'll bring up the link again. Right, here it is. This is it. Okay, so that is this segment of the band. And then, of course, we have a beacon segment, and this is a very useful portion of the band, especially for, you know, checking propagation and that sort of stuff. And of course, I'm going to fast track a bit. You know, here we have digital communication, digital voice gateways, so on. It's a very fast growing mode, digital voice. And I want to fast track it a bit. Here we have FM digital repeater input exclusive. And here we have some space communication, digital voice, FM digital voice, space communication. And then here we have FM internet, voice gateway, digital voice calling, FM calling. And here we have repeater outputs in the 144. But what is really, really sad is this segment of the band. This is where we have much of our satellites, FM satellites, SSB satellites, International Space Station, and so on. So what are we to do as ham radio operators if we were to lose this segment of the band? This is 9Y4 Delta Gulf with a little presentation on the 144 to 146 megs and its impact. And its impact on what we may be losing if we were to lose that segment of the band. I'll take a standby now for any stations with any questions or comments. First, I'll invite check-ins from the analog repeater. Any check-ins from the analog repeater, please check in with your call sign. Over. Nothing heard. Do we have any comments or questions from the digital voice side? Please simply key up. Over.
M6, LZX, I've found the internet link, Dev, and should be going to bed shortly, so I should just be listening in. But I've found the digital, the YouTube net live streaming anyway. So I'll say 73 is all, because it's 20 past 1 in the morning in the UK. So back to you, Dev, and thanks for putting it on live.
Not a problem there, buddy. What is interesting, at least the nice thing about this there, Brian, is that you can go to sleep and wake up in the morning and you can take a look at the YouTube video. It's there till thy kingdom come. Thanks for coming up and being part of the experience there, Brian. Mike 6, Lima Zulu X-ray, 954 Delta Golf, over.
Yep, 7-3, Dev, 7-3, everybody on the, well, shall we say, the channel, or room, rather.
Okay, Brian, more like the network. We also have Anup, Victor Echo 3, November Bravo, India. I see you came up on the digital voice side there, Anup. V3 NBI, good evening, and welcome to the Digital Voice Caribbean and also our TTARS, Trinidad Big Amateur Radio Society Technical Net for Wednesday, 26 September. Welcome there, Anup. Go right ahead, over. Not too sure where Anup went there, but anyhow. All right, any other stations on the digital voice side? We should make a comment or have a question, over. Okay, nothing heard. So what we'll do, we will now move on with the presentation. The thing is now is I want to ask another question. What's the issue with this band segment? In other words, what really? So we see what is there on the 144 to 146 megahertz segment. Now, what really is the issue? Well, a World Radio Communication Conference, which is WAC 2023 or 23, there's an agenda item proposing to study a range of frequencies, including potentially reassigning our amateur radio spectrum, 144 to 146. Right now, we have primary use of this spectrum, but they want to give this primary usage to aeronautical mobile service. Now, this was introduced by France. The proposal targeted 144 to 146 megahertz will be part of a broader consideration of spectrum allocated to the aeronautical mobile service. And a meeting, the CPT Project Team A was held from June 17 to 21st in Prague, Czech Republic, and it drew little opposition to the above recommendation. So in other words, there's a group that was commissioned to look at this issue, and apparently this group saw that there is no real need to oppose it. Means that it might be adopted. Now, what is the rationale for France's proposal? This is interesting. What it's saying is that in the number of manned and unmanned spacecraft equipped with sensors has grown significantly in the past 20 years, together with the need of bidirectional low to high data rate communications. Aeronautical applications like fire surveillance, border surveillance, air quality, environment monitoring, traffic monitoring, disaster monitoring, terrain modeling, imagery, visible infrared radar, meteor, video monitoring require non-safety communication input between various types of aeronautical platforms. Consequently, the need for non-safety data communication between various types of aeronautical platforms increases. So the need for new frequency bands. So they're looking at, basically using drone technology and all the other communication associated with it in terms of surveillance and all the other telemetry that would be associated with this activity. They need spectrum. And of course, they're coming to us for it. This is 954 Delta Golf. We're going to take a little standby again for any stations with any clarification, wishing any clarification or have any questions or comments. Please, we're going to start first with the VHF repeater. Any station on the VHF repeater have any questions or comments, please come in with your call sign. Over. Nothing heard. Anybody with any questions or comments on the digital voice side, please key up now. Over. Nothing heard. So we continue with the little presentation. Now, what is interested is what is the International Amateur Radio Union perspective on this? Well, regarding new aeronautical frequencies, including 144 to 46 megahertz, the proposal was not strongly opposed by administrations and has been carried forward to the higher level CPT conference preparatory group, the CPG, meeting in August for final adoption. So it means that this group will have the final say on whether this thing is going to be adopted to be placed in the agenda of WARC 23. And of course, not having opposition, it might be passing through WARC 23 quite easily. The IA reviews with grave concern any proposal to include 144 megahertz band in the proposed aeronautical agenda item, and we're making every effort to fully protect amateur radio interests and seek the support of regulators in this regard. Let me just drop. The band 144 to 146 megahertz is allocated globally to the amateur radio and amateur radio satellite services on a primary basis. It is the only global harmonized VHF band for amateur radio and amateur satellite service. And I want to endorse that. When you put a band to work for satellite, it's not a region, IRU region 1 thing or ITU region 1 thing. It's not a region 2 thing. It's not a region 3 thing. It's a global thing. As such, it is an important and widely used part of the amateur radio spectrum with a vast installed base of both terrestrial, marine amateur users and systems and operational satellite stations, including the International Space Station. This heavily used band supports a large number of repeater stations, segments for weak signal, long-distance terrestrial, and Earth-Moon-Earth communication, satellite and IS usage, data services, as well as conventional terrestrial and tropospheric communications. Now you understand why I had looked at that band plan prior to this presentation. The primary status of the band has also enabled a number of aeronautical uses, including there should be unmanned, UMANED flights, and high-altitude balloons. Supporting all this is a wide variety of commercial and experimental equipment, ranging from ultra-low noise preamplifiers for sensitive repeaters, software-defined radios, and transmitting systems that can deliver high EIRP levels when needed to overcome high-loss propagation paths. Given the propagation to and from an aircraft at altitude, it is entirely possible that harmful interference to sensitive amateur and amateur satellite receivers will be caused over a 1,000-kilometer radius of a single aircraft. This is important as ham radio operators. I have actually highlighted this part in red. Let me just drop. The IARU will shortly be providing a brief to member societies. This is important throughout the region, both regionally within the Caribbean and internationally, and other interested parties, asking them to discuss the French proposal with their administrations well in advance of the August CPT-CPG meeting. It is possible that France will seek to introduce into the Regional Telecommunication Organization, the RTO, the same proposal to study the 144 to 146 megahertz band for aeronautical use. IRU will provide a brief shortly to enable representations to be made to administrations and countries under those RTOs for protection of this amateur spectrum allocation. This is 9Y4 Delta Golf, and we now take a standby for any stations first on the VHF side that have any questions or comments. Please check in with your call sign only, please. Over.
9Y4.
Yeah, 9Y4 CAJ. Go right ahead there, Calvin. Over.
Yeah, Roger. What I'm asking is, well, I'm not sure if you can answer this, but had posed any alternative to the 144 to 146 band? Is there? Go ahead.
I am not too sure if there's an alternative. I have no idea what the spectrum looks like, but I guess that would be for the. That's a very good question there, Calvin. I guess it would be for the people who manage the spectrum. You know, amateur radio is a self-regulating service, and our pit bulls and watchdogs by our gates are telling us that there's an intruder that is coming in, so we are protecting our bands. Where they want to go, I don't think it's. I mean, I just talking off the top of my head for what I know. I don't think we have the moral obligation to really tell them where they should go. All we need to tell them is that they need to keep looking. There, Calvin. That would be my recommendation, that they need to keep looking. We don't want to give up that very important segment of the band, because it really is what I would consider to be the very technical side of the 2-meter spectrum. There, Calvin. Over.
Yeah, Roger, out there. 9Y4 DJ. Yeah, well, if they are using the 144 to 16 meg aeronautical, they should have a without a thing that should be entertained. There, go ahead.
Yeah, well, that's not for us to decide here, Calvin. Like I said, we just have to protect our band. And they look at it, they think it's not in use, and that's why they're coming after it. That's basically what it is there. All right, any other stations have any clarification? You got any clarifications or have any questions or comments about the presentation thus far? Please, on the VHF side, please come in with your call sign here. Over.
9 Zulu 4 Juliet Alpha Golf.
Yeah, we got 9 Zulu 4 Juliet Alpha Golf. Go right ahead there, Brahmi. Over.
Sure, Roger. Just one observation. Well, don't know if it's observation. That's probably they probably see the. I don't know with our own little hotspot something, and probably not using the repeaters, the normal repeaters on the 144, 146 side. They probably thought that, nobody is using them again, so probably let's give it to the aircraft. Over.
All right. Well, that's one good thing, but I don't think many hotspots operate there, except you'd have the dual band hotspot, the full duplex hotspots. They might operate there, but other than that, I can't see them, because I mean, if you look at that's why I look at the band allocation first. While there's a section there for digital voice and whatnot, but I guess that's their worries, not mine. We just have to protect our band. Thanks very much for coming up. Any other stations require any clarification or questions or have any comments? Please, on the VHF side, please come in with your call sign there. Over. Okay, nothing heard. We extend the same invitation to the digital voice side. Do you have any stations have any questions or comments or clarification on the digital voice side? Please key up now there. Over.
9Y4 X-ray.
Right, Noel, we taking check-ins from the digital voice side. Just hang in there a minute, Noel. Any other stations for the digital voice side, please key up now, there, over. All right, we got 9Y4 Sierra Hotels. Go ahead, Steve. Nine by 4 Sierra Hotel. We saw you keyed up. Do you have anything to say? Right, I know Steve is transmitting, but there's no audio on Steve, so I'll pick up. Sorry about that. I know Steve is transmitting, but I'm getting no audio from Steve, so I'll pick up you, Noel. We'll switch across to the analog VHF side. Go ahead, Anna. Go ahead, Noel. 9x4 X-ray, 9x4 Delta Golf. Over.
Okay, Roger. Okay then, just a couple things I want to mention. At this stage, that issue, it's a proposal from the aviation authorities in Europe to have to for aviation services. So it is a very early stage at this time because what is going to happen is that they are doing studies in different sectors of demand. And it is something that is going to be played out at this point in time. And but one of the things that would affect the radio amateurs in Europe is that they only have up to 146, whereas we have the extension down to 148, right? So they will be losing everything if that should reach the stage where it goes to the WRC 23. They have a lot at stake there. So there's a lot of work that has to be done still by the regions, particularly region 2 and 3, and also region 1 more so. So we just have to mobilize to protect our interests as is done usually by the IRU. But it's very early, so we are alerted to that, and the real work will start when we start the preparations for WRC 23 as soon as 2019 is completed. So what the industry is trying to achieve is to get this proposal onto the agenda for 2023, right? If it could be stopped before it reached that stage, okay, hurrah. If not, well then we'll be engaging in all the negotiations and all the work that has to be done to protect the interests. We've been there before, and we know all the ropes, and we will be there again, and we will have to just mobilize all the amateur societies in the region to counteract and dialogue with the administrations and that sort of thing. So there's still a lot of work to be done there in the next 3 years, which will start as soon as this one finishes for Region 2. So just want to put that on the agenda there before we use up all our panic and stress before we need to. At this point in time, we just mobilize and take an action and don't panic to too much on the issue at this point in time, because the actual work is being done as the first line in their deliberations there. So back to Net 9x4X.
You okay then, Noel? I just have dropped a little pause there. Well, actually, Noel, it's not a panic mode, you know. You see, the whole idea behind it is that talking to the hams, they have no idea what is going on. So the purpose of this net and the purpose of this format of the net is that now an audiovisual package has been automatically prepared so that people could have an idea of what is going on, what has happened, what is going on presently, and what they should do. That's why I highlighted something in red, that it may become necessary for member societies to mobilize in the future. So this is really, it's not a panic mode, really there, Noel. It was meant to start the mobilization process. I repeat, it is to start the mobilization process should the need arise. There, over.
Fully understood, but I just wanted to put some clarity so people don't stress too much and be rational about how we do our preparation, because the IR is going to give a lot of guidelines on this, and we're going to take, we are looking at what's happening in SEP basically at this point in time. We are going to have a very lively Region 2 General Assembly Lima for sure because of this. So I'm sure that we're going to hear quite a lot in the working groups there as you have experienced some years ago there. So no, I'm not, I was just trying to put in perspective for the other side of what has to take place simultaneously. So the mobilization is a given. Okay, that's pretty good process there. Not knocking it, just trying to put some perspective on the other side. Back to that, now my point.
Okay then, Noel. Thank you for your contribution. Actually, Noel is one of the reps there on IRU, and IRU Region 2, Area E, where he's the Area E rep. So he's a man with a tremendous amount of experience. It's called Sinus 9Y4 Romeo X-ray. And that's him there with a little perspective on this. And some words of advice: don't panic too much yet, but like I said, it's to be forewarned is to be forearmed. All right, do we have any further check-ins first on the VHF side? Any further check-ins on the VHF side? Please come here, check in with your call sign. Over.
9 Zulu 4 Sierra.
Okay, we got 9 Zulu 4 Sierra noted. Any other check-ins? Please come with your call sign. Over. Nothing heard. 9 Zulu 4 Sierra. Good evening, dear Gary. How can we help you this evening? Over.
Yeah, good evening to you, the control 9 Yankee 4 Delta Golf, on all our frequency 9 Zulu 4 Sierra today. Nothing much, just just listening here, and just wish everyone a pleasant night at the same time. You're over.
Thank you, dear Gary. Thanks for coming up and being part of the net this evening. This is 9Y4 Delta Golf. Just a little reminder, we're streaming live on YouTube. We also not only on VHF, we also on Digital Voice, on the TGIF net. On the TGIF network, Talk 969, on D-Star, Reflector 299 Gulf, and also on Yesu YSF, DV Caribbean, room 53636. Any further check-ins on the VHF side, please come in with your call sign. Over.
9Y4 Bravo Kilo.
Yeah, got you noted there, 9Y4 Bravo Kilo. Any others on the VHF side, please come with your call sign. Over. Nothing heard. 9Y4 Bravo Kilo. Good evening. How can we help you this evening? Over.
Yes, good evening to you, Devon, all on frequency. Just making my presence felt over.
No, you're not successful at all. I feel nothing. I only hear you there, over.
All right, I could edit. Bother. Yeah, it's interesting, Dev. I recall we have had a similar situation some years back. But I think around this time, perhaps, well, we should hope, I think, that, it works out similar to what had previously occurred over.
You okay there, Ken? All right. Well, let's see what happens. Time will tell. And as Noel said, we shouldn't panic. So we're not panicking, but we're mobilizing in the process. All righty. Thanks very much for coming up. Do you have any further check-ins on the VHF side? Please check in with your call sign. Over. Nothing heard. We now take a stand. We now take a standby for any stations, any further check-ins on the digital voice side of the net this evening. Please key up. Over. All right, nothing heard on the digital voice side. We have a couple of other stuff that I'm sure Hams might be interested in. There's this nice amplifier. It's going to come up on YouTube shortly. It's on QRZ. The BLA 600. There's a nice little on QRZnow.com. Just some little information here. I saw FLDG. There's a new version of FLDG, FLDG 4.1.04 is now available. FLDG is the Swiss knife of digital modes in terms of being able to have a lot of stuff. Also, there's a new release of Log4M. All of the Avid DXs here will be glad to know that. I'm sure it probably comes with FT4 as one of the standard modes. So that'll be nice addition to anybody's shack in terms of getting your logs in order and so on. And of course, Ham Radio Deluxe software from Hamcom 2019, the updated version for this year. What else do we have? We have a vertical antenna, 8 bands with traps. It's all there. The Elecraft AX1 portable QRP antenna. And of course, we have the Sun SDR DX transceiver. If I remember correctly, I think this Sun, let me just open up this link and see what will happen. Oh, no, it's another device. All right. Not what I was thinking about. Let me just drop. Right. Do we have, I think we had 9x4 CAG and JD Delta mic coming in on digital voice. I'm not sure if you have any comments or questions, so I'll take it in that order. 9x4 CAG, go ahead with your question or comment on digital voice. Over.
And if question now is related to, and that is about it from my end there, Roger.
Yeah, okay, I missed your comments. I saw you key up on digital voice, but I don't know why you came back on the repeater. When I called for digital voice, I saw you keyed up there. So I thought you would have responded on the mode that you keyed up on there, Carmen. But what's your comment there, over?
Yeah, Roger, I was wondering if what you're discussing now was related to the original topic. amateur, the aeronautical use of the 144 to 146 there, Roger.
Let's see, once it has been exhausted, ask for questions or comments, and nobody is asking anymore. So we using some other persons sharing some other information there. QSL?
Roger that, QSL. Thanks for that info. 9Y4 DT, got a net controller, 9Y4 CJ.
No problem there, buddy. Glad to have you on board. We had Rennie, GD Delta Mike. Go right ahead, Rennie. I think you were coming in on digital voice. So go right ahead. Over.
All right, thanks a lot there, Dev. I just wanted to point out to you that when you gave way a while ago for persons to check in on the digital mode, your PTT was still engaged. So anyone who wanted to check in at that particular time was unable to do so. So I would like you to give those operators another chance to check in. And another question I had for you is, what's the coverage of the VHF repeater that you're currently streaming back onto the digital mode? What's the coverage like, location-wise? Just to give me an idea. I've never been to Trinidad, but if it's north, south, and if it's linked to another, and that sort of thing. Go ahead.
Okay, all right. Note your question. Let me just take a standby. Do you have any stations on digital voice requiring any questions or comments? Please key up now. Over. Okay, we got JD Charlie Delta with some extremely low audio. The jack the volume all the way up there, Donald. Any comments or questions? Go right ahead. Over.
No comments actually. Just registering the calls and let you know that I've been following the conversation and the discussion so far.
Excellent, excellent. All right, and really the reason why it's not that I didn't go back to receive. It took a while because I have a mouse here that's a little bit unresponsive. So it took maybe 10 seconds to get to disengage the PTT. But I had listened in there. I'm aware of that. All right. To get back to the repeater is actually the 146.94 repeater. And that repeater is located on the central range. It covers the entire island. Goes as far north as Tobago. I think some good spots in Grenada could hit it. And I'm sure some people in Venezuela, we normally hear them checking in from time to time. Some noise, I shouldn't say some noise. That's not the good thing to say. Some traffic from Venezuela as well. Are they ready? Does that answer your question? Over. See, there goes my mouse. Okay, right.
Yeah, okay, copy. So I take it to understand that this is a standalone VHF repeater, not linked to any other repeater or any other UHF, VHF. It's just a standalone there. Go ahead.
You're very correct. That is very correct. It's a standalone repeaters. None of our repeaters here are linked. The only thing that is linked is digitally. We have 2 repeaters. We have some D-Star and DMR repeaters, but they're more on demo and test. Not on repeater sites. They're by somebody's home, and you may have some link into some reflectors, but it's just there for test purposes. But the 2 repeaters we have, they're not linked to anything else but you and I when we key up on talking to it. Over.
Okay, fine business. All right, just wanted to have an idea of what the coverage is like there. All right, well, we wouldn't keep you. I'm gonna let you go right back to get those check-ins, and let me thank you once again, and let me welcome Donald, Juliet, Charlie Delta on digital mode, and encourage others as well to get on board. Juliet, Delta, Mike, St. Vincent, back to you then.
Okay, Rennie, thank you very much there for coming up. And yes, it was very remiss of me. Donald, Juliet, Charlie Delta has been knocking on the doors of digital voice for the last maybe 2 years. Unfortunately, Rennie got him sorted out. He's now on Peanut, and I'd like to welcome him. JD, Charlie Delta, Donald. Really a pleasure having you on board, buddy. And I'm glad that at least you got it eventually sorted out. And welcome aboard. I'm sure you're going to have a tremendous amount of fun using these modes there. All right, now we're going to take a standby on the repeater side, on the analog side. Any further check-ins, comments, questions, rechecks? Please check in with your call sign there. Over. I don't know if that was an attempted check-in, but you're not getting into the repeater. Try it again. Nothing heard on the analog side. We now take a standby for anybody on the VHF, sorry, anybody on the digital voice side of this net. Please key up now. Over. We had an attempted check-in from 9Y4 Sierra Hotel. Not sure if Steve has sorted out his audio issue. 9Y4 Sierra Hotel, 9Y4 Delta Gulf. Are you back with us, Steve? Over.
Yeah, 9Y4 Sierra Hotel.
Yes, Steve, we got you there this time. Go right ahead there. The mic is yours. 9Y4 SH, 9Y4 Delta Gulf. All right, seem to have some issues there, so get it sorted out. Anyhow, it's 2058. We're going to take a standby for check-ins from anywhere, digital or analog. I'm listening to both of you all. And if I do hear anything, we'll shut this thing down. This is 9Y4 Delta Golf. Name is Dev, Delta Echo Victor. Any check-ins from anywhere? Please check in now.
904 Whiskey Delta.
Okay, we got 9 Zulu 4 Whiskey Delta coming in on the digital voice side. Good evening there, Philip. I hope that you are listening to the entire net. If not, it will be published on YouTube. I mean, it is on YouTube at present. 9 Zulu 4 Whiskey Delta, welcome aboard to the TechNet and the digital voice. Actually, part of the history creating event to have this taking place there, Philip. So welcome aboard. And how can we help you this evening there? Over.
Good evening to you there, 9Y4 Delta Gulf, and all others on frequency here this evening. I just turned on the computer here, and just about 2 or 3 minutes ago, joined the the network. Just remember, so like to get my name down into the log, and congratulations on the accomplishments this evening. And just a quick good evening to my friend there in St. Vincent. I think when I set up this program a couple of days ago, I was fortunate enough to contact him there in St. Vincent and got a good report. So good evening all around and good network. 9 is Zulu 4, Whiskey Delta down in the Southland, Hyderabad. Pleasant good night all around, and I will be on the side monitoring. Over.
You okay there? Fine business there, Philip, and thanks so much for coming up. Thank you so much there for coming up there, Philip. I'm glad that you made it. Eventually, no fret. No fret at all. Glad to have you aboard. And of course, the proceedings of tonight's net, you can view it on YouTube. There's a link that has been sent out on the WhatsApp chat. You can feel free to look at it. And thanks again for being part of this history-making net there. All righty. I'll take one more standby and then we'll tie the ribbons on tonight's proceeding. Any further check-ins from anywhere? Please check in now. Over. Yeah, go right ahead, recheck.
Okay, this is 9 Yankee 4 Delta Alpha again. As I said, I got distracted when you started the discussion there with the change in frequency. I heard Noel talk about the people in Europe will be losing the entire 2-meter band. And I heard your comment about if we lose that section, that's the long-range version of 2 meters. So on. The aircraft band starts at, I think, 108, just above the broadcast band, and it goes up to 136. Now, years ago, we had a big channel station, and then when things got crowded, they shrunk they've narrowed the band a bit, so they got a lot more frequencies in between there, and that also works. I'm surprised now that they're looking for more, but I would have thought they were going to try the same thing again, narrow the channels, and the other thing was just go above the aircraft band, because if they come into the ham band, let's see, in this part of the world there's a sign on it, there's going to be a lot of interference. The aviation band is AM. We operate in all the modes, single sideband, AM, FM, and so on. So that there will be interference, and then the same thing, like but just long skip. Granted, yes, it's here, but I could easily see on a right condition, Sunderland and so on, somebody could be given a clearance in Africa and a man copying it here in the Caribbean.
Yeah, okay. Well, I guess like I said, I would suggest that they try to do what the hams do, rather than try to go look for more spectrum. I mean, I would suggest that they try to use some modulation techniques that use very narrow band. They need to go back to their own drawing board and use modulation techniques that would require, so in other words, you have many more channels in the same available bandwidth, in the same available frequency spectrum. But I would suggest, Dave, you missed a great portion of the net. I would suggest you look at the YouTube video because a lot of information that was shared there, Dave. QSL 9x4D and 9x4 Delta Golf. Over.
Now, the part where you say to use different modulation techniques, same thing there. Remember, there's a couple of 100,000 aircraft, and anything with aviation, the cheapest thing is under $100,000. So if you're talking to modify feeder planes, yeah, I can see the accountants falling at that there. Unless it's inevitable change, like when the guys up north wave the big stick, everybody has to fall in line. So it remains to be seen. But I would vote against giving up any frequency for aviation. Oh, and then that's it. I heard you're at Tiny Ribbons, and I'm starting to drift in myself. 73 cents from now, 9 Yankee 4 Delta.
You're okay, Dave. No problem there at all. All right. Thanks for coming up, and glad to have you on board. And yes, I realize that you're drifting there. Anyhow, this is 9Y4 Delta Golf. We'd like to thank let me see, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stations on 2 meters and an equal amount on digital voice. 6 stations on digital voice as well. We'd like to thank you all. We had some visitors from England, from the UK, and we had from Canada. We had from St. Vincent, and I saw a US station in there, but I think that was before the net started. So this is 9Y4 Delta Golf, Tiny Ribbons on this TechNet for 26th June 2019. And thank every one of you all for listening in. This net, of course, will be made available. It's all going to be on YouTube. You can just search for my call sign, 9Y4 Delta Golf, and look for the video that is dated 26th of June. If you don't have the link, it's very easy to find. So let me thank one and all for being part of tonight's experience. History is in the making tonight because of how the net was conducted. And we'd like to thank each and every one of you all for making this net possible and ensuring that I had tremendous fun doing the net. 7 all. This is 9Y4 Delta Golf, leaving all the various frequencies, channels, reflectors, links free for general amateur radio use. 7 good night, goodbye.